Hello, good day, everybody. You're welcome back to Cerebral RN lectures. Today, we are starting our anatomy and physiology lecture. It's just a synopsis of what we've learned previously. As I'm going through, just follow, and then hopefully you'll gain something today. Introduction to anatomy and physiology. The reason why we have anatomy and physiology together is because that's the curriculum as recommended by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. However, both can be independent. Both are different. They have different meaning. Anatomy refers to the structure, the physical appearance, the structure and the shape of an organ or a body, while physiology is how that body part function. So, for instance, if we look at the heart, it in itself, looking at it, the physical appearance, the structure, the study of that structure is anatomy. And when we go to look at what the heart does, why the structure is in that way, why it has muscular fiber, why it has hollow shape, that is when we're talking about physiology. So both of them are different, they are separate, but they are very, very, very closely related. Very, very closely related. So, and in most cases, from the appearance, from the anatomy, you can also see what the function is. For instance, like I said, the heart has very thick muscles. It has muscular, it has cardiac muscles, and we know that that is because it helps to pump blood. So, because it has thick muscles, that is anatomy. We can know that the physiology is helping to pump blood to the body. So, looking at anatomy can be further subdivided into some various categories, but for the sake of this study, we are looking at just three. There's a gross anatomy that is looking at the study of it, of a large or visible structure. So, that is the organ that you can visibly appreciate, that you can see visibly with your eyes, with your naked eyes. Like the organs, you can see the muscles, you can see the bones. Those are gross anatomy. You do not need a microscope to look at them. You do not need any kind of enhancements to appreciate what you're looking at. So gross anatomy is the study of things that you can see with your naked eyes that are visible and large. Why the next one is microscopic. Like I said, microscopic. You need to take a look at them with the aid of a microscope. So when you're looking at cells, looking at tissues, you're looking at very minute particles. So that is when we refer to them as microscopic anatomy. So when we are studying about the cell, how does a cell look like? The study of how the cell look like, how tissues look like, even though you cannot see them with your physical eyes, but you can study them. And that is what they do under the microscopic anatomy. And the third one we have here is developmental anatomy. That is how organs develop. That is embryology. How does those body parts develop from in utero, from the uterus, from conception? So the study of the changes in the body parts, in the organs, from conception till birth till adulthood, as they grow, as they adapt, as they become so specialized. That is what they do. That's what we look at in developmental anatomy. Whereas in physiology, it's straightforward. It's pretty straightforward because it focuses on the function of body parts, and it can be at a cellular level or molecular level. It can also be subdivided into. I have three here. The neurophysiology. This deals with the neurophysiology. The cardiovascular physiology that deals with the heart and blood vessels. And then we have what we know as pathophysiology. That is the changes due to illnesses or disease. Those are the unwanted changes. Those are the unexpected changes that occur due to diseases generally. So that is what they call pathophysiology. Now we know that they are different. Anatomy and physiology are separate, but they are closely related. And the relationship is because structure determines function. Like I said, I made an example of the heart. Another example is the skeletal system. The bones are strong. Structurally, you can see that the bones are strong, so it can give you an idea of what the function will be. The function is of bones is they maintain the structural support, that the structural support of the body. So because of the structure, the hard structure, you can deduce what the may likely function as. Another example is, for instance, the blood. You see, the blood is liquid. So you can, from the structure of the blood, you can deduce what it is. The blood is liquid and it flows from one end to another end. It flows through blood vessels. So you can know that, you can guess that as it flows, they may carry along some nutrients, some gases, they carry along so many things. So that is why we say from the structure you can determine the function. Moving on, we have organization of the human body. The human body is a very complex system, and it's organized from simplest form to the most complex forms. Okay, so the simplest form of the human body is the chemical level. That is the simplest form. That is, we are talking about the gases, the ions, the atoms, the molecules. The body is made up of carbon, hydrogen molecules, and then which combine together to form, um, the body is made of atoms, rather, like carbon atoms or hydrogen atoms, which combines to form molecules, such as your DNA. DNA contains so many atoms, it contains a lot of atoms coming together to form the DNA. Then our protein also is a combination of so many particles, atoms that come together to form the protein molecule. So that's the chemical level, the simplest form, the first form. From the chemical form, we go to the cellular form. So cellular form is a cell, like the like I said, cellular form. So human body exists at a cellular level. That is the basic unit of life. The chemical level is important, but it is not the basic unit of life. But on the cellular level, there are organs, there are some some particles, there are some organisms that can exist, that can live as a cellular organism. So that is why they say the cell is a basic unit of life, because it makes up of the human body. Then we have the tissue levels. Tissue levels are just groups of cells that work together, and then they perform a specific function. So that is why we have muscle tissues, we have nervous tissues. That means in the muscle tissue, all the cells come together to perform a specific function, which is the muscle. They act as a muscle. The nervous tissue, all of those cells have a specialized function, and that is they act as the nervous system. So in the tissue level, all those cellular levels come together and they take up a specific function. So there can be different groups of cells, different tissues, which have different functions. So we have organs. This is when two or more tissue come together and they work together. For instance, we have the heart. The heart is an organ. We have the lungs, it's an organ. We have so many organs in the body. So this is when so many tissues come together and then perform a specific function. Then we have the system or organ system level. Like it's the same thing, group of organs coming together. We have the digestive system, the respiratory system, the nervous system. So all of these organs come together and they form a complete system. Then we have the organism level. Organism level is just when it's just like a complete human being. It's a combination of so many systems coming together, working together in harmony to make the human body. So just this is just a recap. Organ system of the body, the common ones that we know, the integumentary system, the skeletal system, muscular system, nervous system, endocrine system, all of this makes up a human body. So you cannot be a human, you cannot be a person without all of this. All of these are important, are very important in making you up as a complete human body. So in the study of anatomy, there are some terms that we need to know. The first one is you need to know what a anatomical position is. So this is very important because you make reference to this. This is your baseline in terms of positioning. So as you study this course, you should have this at the back of your mind when you're making reference to positioning. Are you facing left? Are you facing right? How do you know if this person is facing left or right? Because you are comparing that person, you are comparing that system, you are comparing that cadaver with a baseline, and this is our baseline. The baseline is the person is standing upright. Standing upright is the first and foremost important point in anatomical position. Standing upright, feet parallel. Second point I have is feet should be parallel. Standing upright, feet parallel. The feet are flat on the ground and parallel to each other. Arms are the side, palms forward, and the heads and eyes forward. So all of this, unfortunately, I don't have a diagram here. I could have showed you how it is, but if you picture this, if you just imagine these five steps, and in your mind picture it, you can understand what the anatomical position means. So when you are standing upright, that means you are standing on your feet, you are standing straight as a human body, as a human being. Your legs, your feet are parallel to each other and flat on the ground. Your arms are by your side, not in front or not at back, not at the back. They are by your side with the palms facing forward, and then your eyes, head facing forward. So in that position, that is your anatomical position. That is a baseline that we always refer to throughout this anatomy course. When after that we have the anatomical planes. So these ones are also will be very important in describing an organ. Okay, because if you say your stomach is in your abdomen, the abdomen is a big cavity. Abdominal cavity is a big cavity. So what part of the cavity is your stomach? What part of the cavity is your liver? So these are the terms that helps you to properly identify where organs are situated in your body. We have the sagittal plane. This one divides the body into left and right part. So when you are standing in your anatomical position and the body is divided into left and right part, that is a sagittal plane. Okay. Then we also have it's also subdivided into two. Mid sagittal plane, that is when it's divided into equal left and right. So when the division is equal, the left and right part of the body is equal. That is a mid sagittal. Mid means middle. So that means the division is in the middle part. That's equal on both sides. But when the left and right sides are not equally divided, that is when that is when we call it para sagittal plane. So we have the frontal plane or coronal plane. This one divides the body into anterior, front. Anterior is the front. So it divides the body into the front part and back part. The front part is called anterior part. The back part is called posterior part. So when you say what's it called, mastoid muscle, or what's it called, the sternocleidomastoid, the mastoid muscle is on which part of the body? Is it the front part or the back part? So we know it's there on the front part. That is the anterior part of the body. So if you want to describe, for instance, you want to describe your, what's it called now? Another example, occiput. So where is the occiput? Is it in the front part of the body or the back part? It is at the back part. So that is posterior part. You can say my occiput or your occiput is at the posterior part of the skull. The skull is the head, is the bone that protects the head, and the occiput is at the back of the skull. So that means the occiput, okay, is at the back part. For this course, we say it's at the posterior part of the skull. The third one we have here is transverse plane, or you can call it horizontal plane. This one divides the body into upper and lower part. So when the body is divided into up and down, you have the upper body, lower body. Upper is superior, lower is inferior. That division is transverse. I hope you understand. Directional terms. These ones helps us to describe a body in respect to other parts. Okay, so when we say something is superior to another thing, okay, the eyes is superior to the nose. That means the eyes is towards the head, is upper. Okay, the upper part, the superior part of the body. That means for instance, the common example is the bone, your femur. Okay, your femur, the upper part of your femur is towards the head. So that is the superior part of the femur, the superior part of the femur. Okay, whereas the lower part of the femur, the one that is further away from the head, it is the inferior part of the femur. It is far away from the head. Another term is the anterior posterior. We've talked about that. Anterior is the front, posterior is the back. Medial is towards the midline, is closer to the midline. That is closer to the sagittal plane, very closer. Lateral is far away from the middle. That is lateral. For instance, you can say my hands are lateral. Your uh the lateral part of an organ could be lateral. A part of an organ could be lateral. That is because it is far away from the midline. We have proximal. Proximal is closer to something. When it's closer, very closer, proximal to another body part, you can say is proximal. Distal is when that organ or that body part is far away. It's kind of far away from the reference point you are talking about. Superficial is when it's towards the surface, and then deep is away from the surface. As you go, I have some examples. As you go further in the course, you can see some examples. Now we have body cavities. All of these are just terms and terminologies that will help you understand and appreciate the distribution of organs in anatomy, so that you understand what they are saying, you understand where they are located when they begin to describe them. So it will not be, it wouldn't sound like jargons. You have the full understanding as you go through. We have body cavities. These ones are like houses. They're like houses. They're like holes that houses or keeps the organs in the body. So we have the dorsal cavity. It contains the cranial cavity. Cranial means brain. Cranial means anything relating to the brain. So cranial cavity is the space, the hollow shape, the hollow part that houses the brain. Okay. We have the spinal cavity. That is the hollow spaces that contains the spinal cord. So they are named according to the organ which they protect. Cranium, brain, and spinal cord. The ventral cavity, like I said, ventral is it has two main subdivision. That is thoracic. Thoracic comes from the word thorax. Thorax is your chest. So, and what's the main organ there? It has the heart and the lungs. So the thoracic cavity is the main part that houses the heart and the lungs. Okay, and then the abdominopelvic cavity. Abdominopelvic is combination of two words: abdominal cavity, pelvic cavity. Because of their proximity, they are sometimes they can be um, people can be mistakenly interchanging them, and there's some organs that can extend in the abdominal and pelvic cavity as well. For instance, the uterus. The uterus resides mainly in the pelvic cavity in women. However, during pregnancy, it gravitates towards the abdominal cavity. So that's why sometimes abdominal pelvic cavity can be called in a sentence, can be used together. The abdominal cavity in itself contains the digestive organs rather, mainly the stomach, liver, and the intestines. Okay, those are the main ones that are in the abdominal cavity. And then the pelvic cavity, like I said, it contains the reproductive organs, mostly in men, the urethra and prostate, and then the women, the uterus is a very major example of a pelvic organ. Like I said, however, during pregnancy, it comes up to the abdominal cavity. But in the pelvic cavity, you have the urinary bladder, reproductive organs, both men and women, and the rectum. So as far down as the rectum is, it is still in the pelvic cavity. Regions of the body, still on description, still on appreciating the terms used in anatomy. We have regions of the body. The abdominopelvic regions. Like I said earlier, the abdominopelvic region is a very large area. And then, for instance, if I say my stomach, your stomach is in the abdominopelvic region, your liver is also in the abdominopelvic region, your uterus is also in the abdominopelvic region, but they all have different spots. They all have different areas to which they reside, even though they are all in the abdominopelvic region. So, in order to study organs and to be able to help patients when there's illness, to be able to detect symptoms early, we need to subdivide these abdominopelvic regions into 9 spaces, into 9 regions, so that we can know where each organ is located. We can know where each organ is located. For instance, we have the right hypochondriac region, we have the epigastric region. I've listed them here. They are 9 in number. Unfortunately, like I said, I could not get a diagram for the sake of this lecture. But if you have any questions, just drop your questions in the comment section. Will get back to you. So the abdominopelvic areas as a whole are further subdivided into 9 regions, which I've listed here. Okay, and then we also have quadrant. So it can be divided into quadrant as well. Right upper quadrant, left upper quadrant, right lower and left lower quadrant. All of this is just for simplicity's sake, to be able to identify which part houses which organ. Yes, this is very important to the introduction of anatomy. That is the basic unit of the body, the cell. The cell is the smallest living unit of the body. So if the body is made up of cells, I think it's very important that we talk about cell. Okay. And then they are composed of so many tiny particles called organelles. Okay. So cells, they're the living units, they're the smallest living units. However, they also are made up of stuffs, and we call them organelles. Um, there are some very important ones we need to talk about. So cell generally has some structures that we'll talk about. However, these structures the cells are not limited to these structures. So that means some cells have more than these general structures. These ones that I've listed there are what is obtainable in all cells. But due to the specific function of some cells, they may also have some more structures which are not listed here. So these ones here are the general structures found in most cells. And again, just to make it clear, some cells have some other structures that are not listed here based on their specific function. For instance, the liver cell will have some structures that are not listed here. The structure that will help it in the detoxification of the body, but they are not listed here. Generally, we have all cells have membrane. All human cells have cell membrane. That's the barrier that controls the movement of substances in and out of the cell. So the membrane is very important for human body. It also has cytoplasm. That is just like a gel. It's just like a liquid gel, like a lubricant where all the organelles swim, where all the organelles are living. It provides support. It provides housing for all the organs. We also have the nucleus. This is a control center of cells. It contains the power, the DNA. Rather, it contains the DNA. That is, it contains the key element. It contains like the main DNA, the main origin. Let me say origin of the cell. Their prototype, like their brain boss. Yes. Why mitochondria is a power, like the generator produces power needed for their function. Endoplasmic reticulum. This one helps to synthesize protein. Golgi apparatus. This one helps to endoplasmic reticulum produces protein, it synthesizes it, while the Golgi apparatus modifies it and packages it for secretion. Okay, lysosome it helps digest or break down waste in the body, in the cell rather. Ribosome is where protein are produced, and cytoskeleton, this one provides the structure of cell and also helps in movement of the cell throughout the body. We have types of cell. Like I said, types of cell, this is very important because of their, it's either because of their structure or because of the function which they perform. So some cells are prokaryotic, that means they don't have a nucleus and they don't have a membrane bound organelles such as bacteria. Why for human cell, like I said, the ones we talked about, the structure I gave earlier, these ones that I talked about, that it must have cell membrane because it is a human cell. Okay, this is just telling you that some cells do not have they lack nucleus and they lack cell membrane. However, those are not human cells. Every human cell have a nucleus and have a membrane. Okay. Um, we can also classify them based on function. Somatic cells and germ cell. Somatic cells are just body cell, they're muscle, they're all cells, while germ cells are the ones that helps in reproduction specifically. So your sperm cells, your ovules, your ovums or egg cells, yes, those are germ cells. Every other body cells are somatic. Okay, growth somatic, but reproduction is germ cell. We can also classify cell based on their specialized function. Okay, we have the epithelial cell. These ones are the ones that line cavity. Their structure is adapted, is modified to line cavity, your esophagus, your blood vessels, all of those are epithelial cells. Okay, then we have muscle cells. Muscle cells that are typically known for contraction, they help to produce movement and to generate heat. So muscle cells typically produce movement. Your muscular system helps in movement and also helps in generating body heat. The nerve cells helps to transmit electric signals. They are mostly found in the nervous system, in your brain, spinal cord, and we have connective tissue cells. This one connects body to cell together. They connect body parts together, like a ligament. Like exactly here it says bone cells and blood cells. They are connective tissue cells. We've talking about cell. Then we need to talk about their division. Division of cell is divided into two. We have the somatic cell. This is just for growth and repair, breaking down into two for growth, for increasing in numbers, and then repairing of damaged cells. And then we have meiosis. Meiosis is the division of germ cell. This division of germ cell, it is for reproduction. We talked about germ cell earlier. We said it's for they're mostly reproductive cells. So the division of those reproductive cells to produce more sperms, more egg or ovum, as you call it, that is called meiosis. Whereas just mitosis is just division of somatic cells, division of body cells, of the muscles, of the nerves, for growth or for repair when there's damage. That's mitosis. Right. In summary, what we've talked about in this introduction, we've talked about the definition of anatomy and physiology. We talked about the fact that they are separate, but they are very much interrelated because anatomy is the study of the physical structure of a body part, while physiology is the function. And we said the structure defines the function, the structure determines the function. So from the structure, you can tell what the function is. Okay. And we talked about the various organization of body parts, from the atoms to the cell to the tissue to the organs and to the organ systems. We also talk about anatomical position, planes, directional terms, and then we just talk about body cavity. We talked about all of the cavities in the body, talked about the regions and quadrant. We also talked about cell, which is the basic unit of life. And then we talk about all of the functions, the division of cell, talked about everything that is pertaining to cell. I think now we finish with the introduction to anatomy. If you have questions, please just um, drop your questions in the comment or in the chat, and then I'll respond to your questions. Thank you very much.